They say men don't cry, but the truth is they just don't cry where anyone can see. They cry behind locked doors, behind fake smiles, behind the casual "I'm good" when their world is on fire. A modern man is not what he seems. He's not just lost in women, money, or ambition. He's lost in himself, trained to perform, conditioned to suppress, and punished for feeling too deeply. How can you love when you were never taught to feel? How can you lead when no one ever led you? How can you stay when all you've known is running? He scrolls, he ghosts, he retreats into silence. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's terrified to be seen, to be truly seen, to be known and perhaps unloved for who he really is. We live in a world that shames men for being soft and mocks them when they turn hard. The modern man is dying quietly, his soul starving, his spirit fragmented, his love unspoken. But here's the truth no one tells him. You were never born to chase lust. You were born to carry legacy. You were never made to impress the world. You were made to awaken it. And before you can ever hold a woman's heart, you must first return to your own. Mama, this is not a video about fixing your relationship. This is about understanding why you destroy it. Why love feels like war. Why silence feels safer than softness. Why you sabotage the very thing you crave. Because men today are not failing in love. They're drowning in disconnection. Raised without fathers, raised with screams, raised in a generation where porn replaced prayer and ego replaced elders. But something ancient is still inside you. A fire, a throne, a voice not yet heard. That man, the true man, isn't gone. He's buried. He's buried. Buried under years of emotional neglect, under false pride, under the pressure to be everything and feel nothing. And now, you're being called to rise, not as a perfect man, but as a present one. Not as a charmer, but as a protector. Love will not wait forever for you to become who you were born to be. She doesn't want your money, she wants your presence. She doesn't need your muscles, she needs your meaning. And if you keep running, you will lose more than her. You will lose yourself. The world is loud, but the soul is still. And in that stillness, God speaks. He says, return, reconnect, reclaim. You were not made to conquer women. You were made to cover them in love, like the sun covers the earth. You were not made to compete with your brothers. You were made to protect their spirit like a tribe of kings. You were not made to chase dopamine. You were made to generate purpose, patience, presence, power. And no man finds that in noise, only in the quiet fire of self-awareness and surrender. This is the truth. Modern love is broken because modern men are building it on broken foundations. But if you heal, if you seek, if you stop running, you'll find that what you've been chasing was never out there. Now is the time. Not next year, not after the next woman. Now, the woman you hurt, the boy inside you, the mission you've buried. They are all waiting for one thing, for you to become who you were always meant to be. Not a man who hides, but one who stands. Not a man who blames, but one who builds. Not a man who fears intimacy, but one who fears living without it. And when you rise, truly rise, she will see it. He will feel it. The world will know it. Because when a man awakens, entire generations heal. Now listen closely. These 5 truths will crack open your mind and your soul. 1. The masculine wound. Silent, unseen, and spiritually starved. He doesn't bleed, but he's wounded. He doesn't scream, but he's in pain. He laughs with the boys, but when he's alone, he questions if he has anyone at all. This is the masculine wound, a pain passed down like a cursed inheritance. From father to son, generation to generation to generation. Not always through abuse, sometimes through absence. A father who was physically present but emotionally bankrupt. A society that told boys to man up but never taught them how to open up. The masculine wound isn't always loud. It's silent, unseen, covered in strength and performance, hidden beneath success, sarcasm, and sex. It shows up in how a man pulls away when love starts to feel too real. It shows up in how he sabotages intimacy, not because he doesn't want to be loved, but because he doesn't believe he's worthy of it. He grew up starving for validation, but learned to mask that hunger with pride. He learned to be the protector, the provider, but never the receiver. Never the one who says, I'm not okay. I need help. I need healing. This is not weakness. This is programming. Men have been taught to conquer the world, but forbidden to conquer their inner world. So the pain festers, silently, in the chest, in the jaw, in the fists that clench when no one's watching. He becomes cold, not because he doesn't care, but because warmth feels unsafe. He becomes distant, not because he's bored, but because closeness awakens old pain. Till one day, he either explodes or he disappears. That is the cost of silence. That is the price of spiritual starvation. But here's the sacred truth. Every man can heal. Every man can remember. Every man can return. Return to feeling. Return to truth. Return to God. And the first step is simple. Not easy, but simple. Acknowledge the wound. Stop pretending. Stop performing. Stop running. Because a man is not healed by hiding his scars. He's healed when he faces them with courage and grace. He's healed when he kneels before something higher than his ego and says, "Teach me how to be whole." Now, the world has enough hurt boys and grown bodies. It's time for healed men to rise, and it begins right here, right now with you. 2. Hyper-individualism. Be a sacred connection, he was told. Be your own man. Don't depend on anyone. Stand alone or fall together. So he built walls, brick by brick. Habits made from ego, pride, and the fear of ever needing someone. But no one told him the truth, that those walls wouldn't keep the pain out. They would keep love from getting in. This is the tragedy of the modern man. He's free, but lonely. Independent, but disconnected. Surrounded by followers, but starved for real intimacy. We glorify hyper-individualism, as if being self-sufficient is the same as being whole. As if needing someone is weakness, instead of a sacred sign of human design. Man was never made to be an island. He was made to be a bridge, a protector, a presence, a piece of the divine that thrives in connection, not in separation. But today, everything tells him otherwise. Focus on you. Get the bag. Cut people off. Trust no one. It sounds strong, but it's actually fear wearing the mask of strength. None of them. It's trauma pretending to be independence, and so he dates, but never opens, sleeps, but never connects, smiles, but feels completely invisible inside, because there is no healing in isolation. There is no wholeness in hiding, and there is no intimacy without vulnerability. The soul of a man craves connection, not just sexual, but sacred. A connection that sees him before he performs. A connection that calls him out, not to shame him, but to shape him, A connection that says, I don't just love your strength, I honor your softness. But that kind of connection isn't built on surface. It's built on surrender. It's not a me versus the world. It's a we against the lies that divide us. This is the new masculinity, rooted, connected, unafraid to need and to be needed. Because a real man doesn't isolate himself to feel powerful. He joins hands to become unstoppable. So the next time the voice says, don't trust, don't open, don't love, remember, that's not your soul speaking. That's your wound. You were not made to be alone. You were made for communion, for fire that warms two souls, for unity that outlives time. And the moment you open, not to everyone, but to the right ones, your healing begins, not in solitude, but in sacred connection. 3. Masculinity without mentorship, the lost map of manhood. He walks into manhood like a soldier without a map. No compass, no guide, just pressure. Pressure to perform, to lead, to figure it out, to be a man without ever being taught what that truly means. He doesn't know if he's doing it right. He just knows he better not get it wrong. Because in this world, no one hands boys the blueprint. Real love doesn't just want your body. It craves your presence, your attention, your alignment. He must understand. The woman he's avoiding through screens is the mirror he's been running from all along. Because she won't just undress his body. She will undress his soul. And that scares him more than anything. But love, true love, isn't meant to be safe, it's meant to be sanctifying. And the day he chooses to put down the illusion and step into divine reality, that's the day he stops consuming love like a product and begins cultivating it as a sacred practice. Let this be the line in the sand, where performance ends and presence begins, where objectification dies and oneness is resurrected. Because a man who returns to love doesn't just find a partner, he finds himself. The spiritual return. From eros to agape, from lust to legacy, he has touched many bodies, but forgotten how to hold a heart. He has conquered moments of pleasure, but lost the memory of sacred love. Because what began as desire turned into distraction. What began as fire turned into ashes. But deep in his bones, beneath the noise, beneath the numbness, beneath the masks he wears to survive, is a calling. Not to eros, the wild, fleeting spark of lust, but to agape, the divine, unshakable, selfless force that turns boys into kings and lovers into legends. Agape doesn't chase. It chooses, it doesn't need applause. It anchors, it doesn't fade when things get hard. It rises when things fall apart. The modern man is being called back, not just to relationships, but to reverence, to a kind of love that doesn't just thrill the body, but transforms the bloodline. This is not about rejecting desire, but redeeming it, letting lust evolve into legacy. Because pleasure is temporary, but purpose, that lives long after you're gone. When a man moves from eros to agape, he stops asking, what can I get from her? And starts asking, oh, what can I build with her? He stops fearing commitment and starts craving covenant. He stops proving he's a man and starts living like one, a man of soul, of stillness, of sacred strength. This is the spiritual return, the awakening of masculinity that doesn't dominate, but devotes, doesn't run, but roots, doesn't consume, but covers and cultivates. And from this place, from agape, he leaves behind the hollow trail of lust and begins building something that echoes in eternity. A home, a name, a future. That is legacy. And it begins the moment he says, I'm done chasing shadows, I choose the light. You see, the greatest love stories aren't found. They're forged in the fire of surrender, in the silence of prayer, in the fierce decision to stop living for the moment and start living for the mission. So rise, man of God, not with lust in your eyes, but with legacy in your hand. Let your love be worship. Let your presence be prophecy. Let your relationship be resurrection. Because when you return to the sacred, you don't just heal yourself, you heal everything that comes after you. So now, you've seen the mirror. Not just a reflection of who you are, but a vision of who you were always meant to become. This is no longer about dating. This is no longer about the games, the texts, the masks, the chase. This is about a man reclaiming his soul so he can finally offer his heart. This is about choosing healing over hiding, purpose over pleasure, legacy over lust. The world does not need more men who chase temporary highs. It needs men who carry eternal light. You were not called to echo the noise of this culture. You were called to become a voice of heaven in a generation that has forgotten what love is. The truth is, you're not too broken. You're not too far gone. You're not too late. Because the most powerful thing a man can do is return. Return to his faith. Return to his inner child. Return to his truth. Return to his woman, not to use her, but to build something holy with her. This is your time, not to perform, but to become. Not to impress the world, but to impact eternity. Let the boy die. Let the lust fade. Let the hollow mask fall to the ground. And from the ashes, let the man rise, not perfect, but present, not loud, but anchored, not empty, but eternally filled. Because when one man rises in truth, the world feels it. He becomes a lighthouse, a warrior of stillness, a protector of peace. And so I leave you with this. Don't just hear these words. Let them break you. Let them build you. Let them baptize you in purpose. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are being called. Answer it.